Throughout the Bible, Christians are warned to be ready for spiritual warfare. But as we look around us on any typical Sunday morning, everything looks just fine and peaceful. We don't see any signs of hostility. There are no enemy aircraft overhead. No guns are being fired. No bombs are exploding in our church. Instead, one of the older men is sleeping quietly in the back row, undisturbed except for an occasional righteous elbow from his wife. A child is drawing pictures on the back of the church newsletter. The pastor is checking over his sermon notes before getting up to preach. What could be more tranquil? And yet, if we want to avoid a spiritual version of Pearl Harbor, an unexpected attack from our enemy, we need to take the Bible's warnings seriously. In this series, we're going to ask and answer three critical questions. Who is our real enemy? What is their plan of attack? And how can we defend ourselves and be victorious? With the lack of new movies being released because of the lockdown caused by COVID-19 virus, old movies are being re-released. I found it amusing that Jurassic Park once again found itself on top of the box office charts. In the movie, Dr. Alan Grant is seen discussing the very dangerous Velociraptor, one of the most cunning and deadly predators ever to walk the earth. But a young boy visiting the site isn't impressed. He says, "That doesn't look very scary, more like a 6-foot turkey." Dr. Grant responds by describing how a Velociraptor goes about an attack. You stare at him, and he just stares right back. And that's when the attack comes, not from the front, but from the sides, from the other two raptors you didn't even know were there. In spiritual warfare, the most dangerous attacks come unexpectedly. Christians often focus their attention on spiritual enemies that are obvious and are plainly visible. While our attention is focused on these obvious forms of evil, suddenly the most lethal attacks come from the sides, from satanic influences that we didn't even know were there. We fight an enemy we can't see, so we need to consider some of the disguises Satan wears, so we can see behind the mask. We need to think about some of the deceitful practices he uses, so we won't be fooled. We start this journey by looking at Paul's words recorded for us in his letter to the Corinthian church in 2 Corinthians chapter 11, verses 1 through to 15.